Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Reacts to RWBY. I'm Mike.
I'm Shane.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Doug.
And we're here to react to RWBY.
Woo!
Yes! Where's the Volume 4, Episode 11?
Yep.
What's it called?
It's called Taking Control. But before that, I was informed by you guys that I missed 4 Rule of Remnants, so I got those. We're gonna watch those real quick.
Okay.
All 4 of them?
Yeah.
Boom.
Do it.
All right.
Good? Yeah.
That's
we were supposed to have seen them already, I guess.
taking time away from RWBY, watching RWBY.
But it is RWBY.
All right,
Yeah.
fine.
Go.
Let's
All right,
watch
so
this play.
this is the first one.
Engage.
So here we go. There we go.
That was super early. That was ready.
So, now you know more about the kingdoms. But, what's between the big cities? Alright, the easy answer is Rim. There's no reason to beat around the bush. They're out there. And it probably won't go well if you run into one. That's okay, because you're a huntsman. Or huntress. And you've trained at one of the major academies, so you're probably fine. Just don't get yourself overrun by a pack of them. Now, after a long day of killing Grimm and saving the world, you're going to probably want to stop at a small town inn. Small villages dot the land between the major cities. You might ask, with the wilderness being so dangerous, why not just live in the big cities? Well, that life isn't meant for everyone. These small towns are founded by people that have a problem with the kingdoms, or don't want to deal with the kingdom's problems, or maybe just enjoy the simpler life and would rather take their chances in the wild than in a kingdom. It goes, well, about as well as you'd think. If the founders are smart, then there's a good chance these towns can survive for the same reason the kingdoms continue to. Natural barriers, strong defenses, and stubborn citizens. If you don't have at least a few of those, then the chances of a town lasting more than a year isn't great. Unfortunately, it's not just the Grimm running around ruining towns. Wandering bandits are another threat. These groups of usually fairly skilled fighters travel the lands, never settling in one place. They often prey on convoys, sending goods between kingdoms. That's not all. These raiders will often wait for a town to be at its weakest, maybe after a Grimm attack or while its fighters are out hunting, before finally moving in at night and striking. Bunch of jerks. The worst part is, if the Grimm hadn't attacked before, you'd better be damn sure they will now. And you can't exactly have bandits raid your town without at least a few negative emotions. This is also why bandits never stay in the towns they conquer. With attitudes like the ones they have, Grimm tend to be pretty interested in them as well. As long as they keep moving, they've got a better chance of survival. Besides these small towns, the areas between kingdoms really depend on the continent. Harsh deserts, icy tundras, lush forests, you name it. At this point, pretty much every inch of Remnant has been mapped out. Although there are some areas that no one's gone into and come out alive.
So that was the first one.
This one was around the Rooster Teeth site.
Yes.
Maybe they'll explain double ears.
You know, most of us spend a lot of time talking about mankind versus Grimm, but technically there is a third party in the mix, the Faunus. In case you're not in the know, the Faunus are a species on Remnant that appear to be human in just about every way but one. Each Faunus has a single animalistic trait, some more apparent than others. Ram horns, tiger claws, cat ears. I swear, on my huntsman's license, I once saw a guy regrow his severed lizard tail. I swear, no amount of drinking can make you forget that pretty picture. As far as everyone's aware, Faunus have been around as long as mankind, if not a little longer. History gets a little fuzzy past a certain point, but we do know that their kind and ours are completely compatible from a biological standpoint. Take 2 wolf faunas, and you get a little wolf cub kiddo. A wolf faunus and a human also typically means your little bundle of joy's teething phase could get a little dicey. But if you take a wolf faunus and a bull faunus, for example, it's a complete roll of the dice. For all you know, you could be cleaning up your son's shedded snake skin. Ugh. Scientists are still scratching their heads when it comes to, well, a lot about the faunus. But science isn't the real problem. It's how we all get along, or in this case, how we don't. Early man was scared to death of the faunus, and honestly, it's not too hard to sympathize with that. Seeing something that looks like you and acts like you walk out of the forest and reveal a pair of fangs can be a little upsetting. Like most things man doesn't understand, all sorts of rumors and stories surround the faunus. People avoided them like the plague, pushing them out of settlements and sometimes even hunting them down. Man began to outnumber the faunus, and the faunus began to consider man nothing more than a hostile species. Can't really blame them. These clashes between species were unavoidable, as land that was safe from the Grimm was in constant short supply. But it was the Grimm that finally brought humans and faunas together for the first time. A village in Sanus fell under attack, and the only reason anyone survived was because the humans and faunas united against their common enemy. It was a step in the right direction, but it didn't fix everything. Once humanity learned they weren't so different from the faunas, they still used those differences as an excuse to exploit and alienate them. The treatment of the faunas differed around the world, and things wouldn't improve much for them until the Great War. Veil and vacuole against Mantle and Mistral, a war unlike anyone had ever seen. And when it was over, the world was desperate to find compromises that would ensure they'd never see the likes of it again. Faunas were awarded equal rights as citizens of Remnant, and as an apology, they were given an entire continent of their own to do with as they pleased. There were some that saw this as fair and just, but many saw it for what it really was, a slap in the face from a nation of sore losers. And so Menagerie was born. There's still faunas all over the world, though the fair treatment they were promised varies in quality from place to place. But Menagerie will always be their safe haven. Here's the thing, though. You can only push and prod people so much before they reach a tipping point. And when you pack those people together, it just makes it all the easier for them to get organized and get even. All right. What was I supposed to talk about next? Oh boy. Yeah, okay. I've got a few words to say about this one. The Schnee Dust Company. Bunch of self-entitled, monopolizing SNOBs who only care about making a profit, no matter how many little people they gotta step on to make it happen. But that's just my opinion. As you all know, our survival in the world of Remnant depends almost entirely on a crystallized substance known as dust. It powers our cities, fuels our machines, and gives us a fighting chance against the creatures of Grimm, which means it's extremely valuable. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to buy dust products without the Schnee Company snowflake stamped on the box. It didn't always used to be that way. Nicholas Schnee was the son of a dust miner turned soldier, born just after the Great War. He found himself at the perfect point in history to take full advantage of the world's next industrial revolution. The kingdom of Mantle, soon to be Atlas, was in a transformative period. They'd found themselves on the forefront of technology, but realized they depleted nearly all of their natural resources to do so. That's where old Nick came in. Rather than watch his kingdom become dependent on the aid of others, young Nicholas Schnee decided to spend his days at combat school, his nights working alongside his father in the dwindling metal mines, and any time in between learning everything he could about anything he didn't know. That kid had a fire in his belly. When his father died, he left his son everything he had. It wasn't much, but it was enough for Nick to set his plan into action. He left school, rallied all the men he could afford, and set out on an expedition to find a dust deposit that could revitalize his kingdom. And wouldn't you know, he actually pulled it off. Fast forward just a few years, and the name Schnee suddenly meant something. Quality, affordability, trust. See, all those years spent in combat school were so that Nick could personally oversee every new expedition. People appreciate a man who's willing to stick his neck out for them, and it's how the Schnee Dust Company earned the business of every kingdom in Remnant. Unfortunately, it's also what led to an early retirement. Nick had started a family that missed him, and his body was tired. Years of working in dust mines can have some nasty side effects on your health. And so enters Jacques Junet. Having married into the family, Jacques decided to take the Schnee name over his own. He was a lot of words I shouldn't repeat. Most importantly, he was a cunning businessman. Jacques managed to convince Nicholas that he was the perfect man to run the SDC in his place. And from a certain point of view, he was right. Under Jacques' leadership, the Schnee Dust Company has become more profitable than ever, completely dominating the industry, but at the cost of the company's soul. Cheap labor, dangerous working conditions, doing whatever it takes to destroy the competition. Jacques Schnee doesn't care about people. He cares about winning. That, and making sure he's got the best damn PR team in the world. The Schnee name still means something today, but as for what it'll mean tomorrow, well, your guess is as good as mine. The Great War. What a terrible name for such a horrible time in history. Though the war itself lasted around 10 years, the century leading up to it was filled with so much tension, you might as well lump them together. And most of that tension was coming from Mistral. Territories rich with resources and safe from Grimm have always been in high demand. But the Emperor of Mistral had managed to conquer nearly all that Anima had to offer, thanks in part to an unlikely friend, Mantle. The two kingdoms had formed an alliance. Mistral provided the small kingdom with goods unavailable in the frozen tundra. In return, Mantle introduced technological innovation as well as guidance in the settlement of Anima's cold, northern territory. It was good, until it wasn't. An incident in Mantle led to a strange and unexpected decree. The abolishment of the arts and repression of self-expression. The people of Mantle had come to believe that they would be much safer from the Grimm if they could simply keep the emotions of the masses in check. Given Mistral's strong, artistic culture, many assumed this would be the end of their alliance. But they were wrong. Mistral complied, selectively, enforcing Mantle's wishes only in the outer territories, allowing the centralized powers to continue to live as they pleased. If you haven't caught on yet, Mistral's full of jerks. The people of Vale had a problem with this. Well, they had a problem with a lot of things Mistral and Mantle had been up to. Treatment of their citizens, use of slave labor, and their constant insistence that their way of life was what was best for everyone. Eventually, Mistral made the jump across the sea to the eastern coast of Samus. The small islands and peninsulas in the area were perfect to establish a settlement. They were so perfect, in fact, that Vale had just begun settling the area themselves. I think we can all guess what happened next. The King of Vale did everything he could to avoid armed conflict. Despite cries from his people, he insisted on sharing the land with the settlers from Mistral. But to this day, no one knows who shot first. But what began as a riot between the two bands of settlers had suddenly become the first battle of the Great War. Mantle quickly came to Mistral's side. Battles were fought on both Samus and Anima soil. Villages were lost to both combat and Grim, and it wasn't long before Vacuo decided to join the party. Up to this point, Vacuo had done its best to stay out of the fight. Mantle and Mistral, having both already established a small presence in Vacuo territory years before, promised to leave them provided they didn't interfere. Soon, those talks evolved. It went from "don't side with them" to "side with us and you'll be safe." Vacuo did not much care for that. They came to the conclusion that if Vale were to fall, there'd be no one left to stop Mistral and Mantle from conquering them next. So they did what they considered to be the logical thing. They drove Mantle and Mistral out of Vacuo and told Vale they had their backs. I love their style. So the war raged on. Grim attacks increased worldwide. On the battlefield, this meant a temporary ceasefire in order to deal with the hordes of monsters before returning to the fight at hand. Those left miserable back at home, however, were often helpless with their best warriors away fighting the good fight. A lot of settlements were lost during these years, and most were never reclaimed. Rations on food and dust were put into effect. Development of technology accelerated. Humans and faunas who fought alongside one another became closer. And every day, mankind grew more and more efficient at destroying itself. But it all ended in the Vacuo campaign. Mistral and Mantle knew that if they could take the dust mines of Vacuo, they would effectively cut off the supply of dust to their enemy. It was to be a final devastating blow to Vale and Vacuo. They were only half right. The King of Vale personally led his army into battle alongside the soldiers of Vacuo and decimated the enemy forces. Crown atop his head and armed only with a sword and his scepter, he laid waste to countless men. As the sand was soaked red with blood, the Grim came in droves. It was the single deadliest battle of the war, and legends of the greatness and terror of the warrior king were born that day. Historians will tell you most of these stories are nothing but grandiose hyperbole. Unusually violent weather conditions, combined with Mantle's unfamiliarity with the desert combat, are likely what led to such a high death count. But whatever the reasoning, everyone bowed to the King of Vale by the time it was over. The Great War had ended. The world was ready to live under the rule of Vale. But the king refused. The leaders of the four kingdoms met on the island of Vital, and it was there that they worked together to form a treaty and establish the future of Remnant. Territories were redistributed, slavery was abolished, governments restructured, and the warrior king, the last king Vale would ever have, founded the Huntsman Academies and placed his most trusted followers in command of each kingdom's school. He would teach the world to fight so long as we promised to fight for ourselves and never against ourselves. Seems like we haven't kept our end of the bargain.
So that was the World of Remnants.
Nice, all right.
Yeah, some history we missed, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, those are nice to have saw.
I think Oz was the king.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, because if you remember, it says the king founded the schools, and Oz says, I helped build that school to Oscar.
That's true.
That's true.
So,
Follow the sword and scepter.
I wonder
So,
if you're like, if you are the old man of the legend, if maybe you have not really time on your side, but sort of an immortality.
yeah, maybe he gets reincarnated into his own bloodline. Like I think maybe Oscar is one of his descendants, right? Or part
Oh,
of his
should be,
bloodline.
could be, yeah.
But yeah, so that was that, and then up next is the next episode. I said the name earlier, so let's get on with it.
Right.
I can't remember.
I can't remember more than 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right.
Let's see here.
Anytime, actually.
Anytime now, yeah. Yeah, it's called Taking
You're
Control.
gonna see the video for the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Enough. I thought you were the girl that wanted power. Did you lie to me? Then stop holding back. If you wish to master your new powers, you must.
Wounded Tyrion comes out.
I'm sorry. She'll forgive me.
Please, forgive me.
Tyrion. Your task. Were you successful?
No. But hope is not lost. My tail, my stinger, I poisoned him. Crow. He will not be a nuisance to you any longer. No, no longer. I've done that. Have I done well? Have I pleased you?
The last eye is blinded. You disappoint me.
Never thought I'd feel sorry for a Graham.
Wow. Oh, nice. Sweet. Oh.
I don't remember saying that you were ready.
Oh yeah? You gonna try and stop me?
No. I think I'm still too sore after our last fight. I just wanted a better goodbye than a letter. And I also have a question for you.
Where are you going?
What do you mean?
Well, despite asking him numerous times not to, I know that Crow told you where your mother's been at these days. I know how much you want to see her. I've stopped you in the past, and I won't anymore. And we both read the note. We know your sister is headed to Mystery. So, where are you going?
Ooh, mystery.
We'll find out.
Really? That's how you're gonna sneak out?
Let's go.
I don't know why you don't like him.
I don't like him at all. Guys. Creepy. This unruly, unkept mustache. Just trim that thing.
Master Whitley, yes, of course. I'll be just a moment. Head to the first floor library. I'll meet you there.
I think this is the first floor library.
Yeah. You know, as opposed to the fourth floor library.
Yeah, that's
or
right.
the second one.
Come on, Shane, you're gonna escape.
You need to control yourself.
Well, what I'm saying is they have more than a library.
Of course.
Everybody?
I am basing everything on my report from your daughter. A daughter you stole! But we are not giving that out.
Oh, yes. We have far more pressing matters to discuss, starting with your apparent lunacy.
Doc!
Winter is one of my best. If she's telling me there's a threat in Mistral, then I'm not going to take that news lightly. We've been there for weeks. People are mobilized. The sun's spikes and weapons and dust rays. Someone is about to make a play, and I do not trust Leo to stop it.
You've never trusted anyone other than yourself.
And for good reason!
If Oz had just listened to me from the start.
You need to get a grip.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Our people need protection. By this time next week, the Kingdom of Atlas will be officially closing its borders. No one in, no one out, without the Council's permission.
You mean without your permission?
And if that becomes the case, I would think you'd want to be on my good side. It's locked. What are you talking about?
Klein! Klein, where are you?
Keep your voice down. I told you I'd be here.
Grumpy.
Are you sure Mistral is safe?
No. But it's where I'll find Winter.
I suppose we'll be the only family you have left after tonight.
I'll always have you.
You most certainly will.
Klein? Klein, get down here this instant.
Go. Now.
Thank you, Klein.
We're hitting them all.
Blake?
This is why, son. This is why I left them all behind.
What are you... Wait. Where am I?
I am done seeing my friends hurt because of me.
Blake.
Shut up! Do you think I like being alone? Every day I think about them. Ruby, Weiss, Yang. They were my friends. I left them like I never thought I could love anybody. And I hope they hate me for leaving.
You don't mean that.
Yes, I do! Everyone thinks they can help me, but they can't. You saw Ilya last night, and she is not even the worst. No. No more. They're better off without me. I made my choices, and I'll deal with the consequences, because they belong to me.
You think you're being selfless, but you're not. Yeah. That chameleon friend of yours got me pretty good. But I'd do it all again if it meant protecting you. And I can promise Yang would say the same. You can make your own choices, sure. But you don't get to make ours. When your friends fight for you, it's because we want to. So stop pushing us out. It hurts more than anything the bad guys could ever do to us. But if it makes you feel any better, the next time I go up against Lizard Girl, it won't be for you. It'll be to get even.
My hero.
Dear, would you look at that? He's awake. Thank goodness. Mom!
Hey, Mrs. B!
What are you doing? Well, sweetheart, your father needed to speak with the two of you.
Huh?
I'm afraid you were right to be suspicious.
What do you mean?
Adam Taurus is planning to overthrow the leader of the White Fang and stage a full-scale attack on Haven Academy. It will be the fall of Beacon all over again.
Not if we destroy the White Fang, once and for all.
No. We're not going to destroy the White Fang.
We're gonna obliterate it.
We're going to take it back.
Okay.
Not again. Not again.
What are you guys doing here?
Did you hear that noise? What was that?
No.
Ren, what is it?
Wait. Do you guys hear that?
No.
Ren?
That's a creepy grim.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that was it.
That's the writer. That's the writer one. The Molly Hatchet cover grim.
Yeah. It's called the Nut Movie.
The Nut Movie. Okay.
It's straight out of Irish Smith.
Nice. Okay.
So I can tell you that now because we're about to watch the next episode. But
Those are good one. We got a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's called Taking Control. It shows everybody
taking control.
Yeah.
Finally.
except for Ren.
So yeah, Ren's
Yeah. Well, he's got time to take control tomorrow.
He needs to calm his own emotions.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, shoot.
We're wrapping everything up.
So you still hate Klein? You still?
Yeah, that's what he wants.
He's still a little creepy.
I don't hate him. I
Like,
just he's creepy as fuck.
he's just like polarized. Like
Well, he's got multiple personalities.
right.
I wouldn't let him hang around my daughters. That's for sure.
Well, apparently he's the only one that actually shows any affection towards them. So
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
literally, he's the only one though. Jock really doesn't care about his daughters.
So what's up with Weiss's mom? She's a drunk out in the.
Yeah, apparently
She got married off to this guy, and then her father gave the family company to him instead of her.
Yeah.
That's probably what's wrong
So
with
she
her.
just turns her back on her daughters and shit.
She's just a drunk socialite.
I guess.
Yeah, that means she was always just a drunk socialite. We don't know anything about her, really.
Yeah.
Except for that she was drunk.
Maybe she was a ditz, and that's why he
yeah.
Because obviously her grandfather had a good head, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would he turn the company over to?
Well, yeah, maybe she grew up too soft.
To Jacques. Maybe. That's right.
Yeah.
Why is his granddad was a badass?
Ready for another.
Well, I think he was Saint Nick. Why is his granddad?
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Ready for another random theory?
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Jacques looks a lot like Dr. Watts.
Yeah, from the Bad Guy Club?
Yeah.
I was thinking that same thing. Yeah. Just this intro, I was thinking it. I never
like,
thought
wow,
about.
Look at that. They look really similar to each other.
Is that what you thought about it? Just
today.
Just today, it was exactly what I was thinking. I never thought of it before until I was watching the intro. I'm like,
Do you think they're the same person, or do you think?
No. I think maybe they're brothers or
something
like
related somehow.
So that maybe Jacques is the inside man. Who's
they got the
getting
same wiry
older.
mustache, but then again, Klein and him have the same mustaches, different colors. You notice?
Well, they got the same color eyes. Yeah. They just look similar.
Related somehow. All right, there we have it. The prediction.
The new prediction that'll probably be proved false in the next episode.
In the next episode.
So we'll see.
All right, yeah. So this is
check out our new RWBY art.
Oh yeah, we have new RWBY art
posters. I should say, not really art.
Yeah, it's art. It's art, but it's just
mass-produced art.
Mass-produced art. So Shane, this is momentous. This is your last episode coming up here. This next one.
Then I'm blind. After that, I'll be all blind with all the character shorts.
That's right.
So yeah. So with our next recap, I can posit theories.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. See, we have no idea. Going in this volume 5, cold.
Yeah.
No one to lead us on this journey. It's as far as Shane can take us. Now we have to venture on out of the nest by ourselves.
Well, let's get to that end.
Stop talking. Get to that. Once again, thank you guys for taking the time to watch us watch RWBY. Really appreciate it. If you want to support us and the things we do here on this channel, there are multiple ways to do that. One, by doing your Christmas shopping through our Amazon affiliate link down below.
Although when this comes out, it's probably after Christmas.
And it's probably after Christmas. So
just do your normal shopping.
All that Christmas money you got, spend it on
Christmas money.
Spend it down with that link down below. Anything you purchase through that link, it doesn't have to be the product that it links to, although it's going to link to some cool RWBY products.
Yeah.
Whatever you purchase through that link will help us out. If you want to support us directly, we have a link to our Patreon down below. Really appreciate that. Our patrons get special stuff like early access to all our stuff, especially like the music reaction videos and stuff like that, bloopers and behind the scenes stuff, and cool stuff like these T-shirts we're wearing.
Should be done by
except for Kirsten, the splitter.
Yeah. And if you watch our holiday special, we will probably have revealed the next one that we're working on.
That's true. So you've probably already seen that by now.
Yeah. So go with that one too.
But go for that one too. That was a good one. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we will see you again in a few days with the last of Volume 4 RWBY.
Bye.
Bye.